may you have something what you can tell the markets actually?
Well, central banks everywhere are printing staggering amounts of money.
Right.
It's never happened like this in the history of the world. And so most markets are going up. As you know, the bond market worldwide is in a bubble. Bonds have never been this expensive in the history of the world. Property in some countries, Korea, New Zealand, some places, property is turning into a bubble. Some stocks are turning into a bubble in markets all over the world. I mean, Samsung goes up every day, 10 cent goes up every day, Apple goes up every day. Not all stocks, because there are many stocks around the world that aren't in a bubble yet, but the bubbles are beginning to form. The cheapest asset class that I see, Bastian, is commodities. I mean, silver's down over 50% from its all-time high. Sugar's down 70% from its all-time high. Oil is down 50%. These are not bubble numbers.
Jim, what is the better asset at the moment? It's silver, gold, or the agriculture?
I should ask you guys, but silver's down 50%. Gold is down 10%. So on a historic basis, silver's cheaper than gold. I'm not buying either at the moment, but if I were buying one, I would buy silver because it's cheaper. I hope that I buy a lot more silver and a lot more gold down the road. But if based on today's prices, I would buy more silver than gold.
For how long do you think this will continue, the money printing? Sarah?
Robert, I wish I were that smart. I will say what will happen is somewhere along the line, the markets are going to start getting worried, and we're going to have a correction. At which point the central bankers will panic because, these guys are just bureaucrats and academics. They don't know anything. They will get scared, and so they will print more money. They'll try to do more to stop the correction, and they will succeed because they got a lot of money. But that's probably the last time. I would suspect by this time next year, the things will be changing. Now, qualify, Robert, if they just print, it can go on longer. Yeah. In the end, the collapse will be much, much worse, but they can prolong it for a while. Certainly see silver we know it's cheap. We can look at the numbers, the history.
Yeah, very good.
I think agriculture is cheap too. There are some things that are just down a lot. Agriculture has been a bad place to be for a long time. So there's some places, commodities, that are cheaper than others.
But it's not always what is cheap that is the most interesting thing. It's what the people are buying, where the money is, where the liquidity is going. The liquidity right now is going into tech stocks, cryptos. I mean, we have now $2 billion market cap again reached today. So these markets are, of people's interest right now, and not basically silver. I mean, I have to say from that point of view.
Well, there's no question that what goes up is what we want to own, and tech stocks have been strong, and that continues to be strong. It's not a bubble yet, but it's getting to be a bubble. It can go up a lot more. I've been around bubbles a long time. The first people who get ruined in a bubble are the people who are skeptical, who say, it's a bubble, stay away. So they get ruined. Then the next people who get ruined are the people who believe. It's not a bubble. It's different. Now it's different. So then they get ruined too. Then everybody gets ruined in the end. But we're not, in my view, we're not to that stage yet. Rainer, anything government bureaucrats do is dangerous. So you start there. They don't know what they're doing, and therefore they're dangerous. But I will say that, nearly every country in the world is working on digital money now. If you go to China, you cannot take a taxi with money. You have to have your money, on your phone. You cannot buy an ice cream in China with money. They're ahead of the rest of us, but everybody's working on it. Eventually, all money will be on the computer. Governments like that because it's cheaper for them, and they have complete control. They know everything you do. They will call up Robert one day and say, Robert, you've been drinking too much beer this week. Stop drinking so much. They know everything, and they love that. Well, as I say, governments like that. I don't like it, but government, that's what's going to happen. And it will all be government money on the computer. In my view, I don't think, let's use the U.S., when the U.S. government says, okay, this is money now, I don't think that the U.S. government is going to say, but if you want to use that money over there, you can use that money. We don't care. That's not the way governments think. They love monopoly. They love control. And I don't think the U.S. government or the German or anybody is going to say, use anything you want. But if you want to pay your bills, you better have our money because it's our money.
Before we continue, help us by smashing that YouTube like button and subscribe now to this channel. This shows the algorithm that you value the information, and it helps us spread this message. Sharing is caring. Please like and subscribe now. Thank you. And now let's continue.
So in which stage are we at the moment where I see a kind of war, a currency war, and this currency war brings the system in a little bit of out of control, and this out of control means they have to start with the weapon. I remember one of your sentence which I really like, but the government has the guns. And isn't it not the government? Is it maybe the financial monopoly?
Well, whatever we call it, in my view, in the end, the government is going to be in charge. And many people, many Bitcoin, many crypto people will say, we're smarter than the government. And they are smarter than the government. Everybody's smarter than the government.
Smarter.
But the government has the guns. Back to my quote, we can say all day long, we're smarter than the government are fools, blah, blah, blah. But if the government says whatever they say, they have the guns, they have the tanks. I don't have any guns, I don't have any tanks. And if the government says this is what you're going to do, well, most of us are going to do it. I don't like it, but I'm telling you, that's the way the world is. But certainly throughout history, there have been plenty of governments and central banks that have made mistakes, and many currencies have gone down and gone down a lot. But in the end, if it comes down to who's the boss, normally the government, because they control the law. I mean, if they make it illegal to use Bitcoin, say, most people, or certainly me, I'm not going to use Bitcoin. If it's illegal, why do I need that hassle? I would love it if we could all have competing money, but governments don't like that. They want monopoly and control. One thing you will find quickly is if you try to use other money, if you have to pay your taxes, if you go into the government and say, I want to pay my taxes with this, the government will say, no, we're not going to take that. If you say, I have to buy a license, a government license, and I want to pay with this money, the government will say no. And you can say all day long, it's good money, but if the government says we don't care, we're not going to take it, that's the end of the story. Property in many countries go to New Zealand, go to Korea, go many places, you will see property is in a bubble. Bonds have never been this expensive in the history of the world, never. Bonds are a bubble. Some stocks are a bubble. Buying bonds is insane now. If you buy a 30-year bond in the United States, they will pay you 2% a year for 30 years. I mean, hooray. There is inflation. I mean, the governments lie about the inflation.
Yeah,
it's worse than the
really
governments say. The government is certainly worse than what the governments say. They all lie about it. I mean, I don't know if you go shopping. Your butler probably does your shopping. But for those of us who buy groceries or rent or entertainment or anything, petrol, we know that prices are up and up a lot. But Rainer, nothing goes straight up or straight down forever. Inflation is here, at least throughout history, when we've printed a lot of money, it has led to more inflation. And it is now, but it doesn't go up straight every day. There are times like this when it calms down. I will say again that commodity, especially agricultural commodities, are probably the cheapest asset of all the assets around the world. Now, I'm sure you could buy property in, Ethiopia and do well, but as a general class of assets, commodities, especially agriculture, are very cheap on a historic basis or any kind of basis. And the world is running out of farmers. The average age of farmers in Japan is 68 years old. In America, it's 58 years old. No, I mean, more people in America study public relations than study agriculture. Nobody wants to be a farmer. And something has got to change, or we're not going to have any clothes, we're not going to have any food of any kind.
What to do in such a situation? Inform yourself and keep your financial education strong. We from the Compact Group offer our loyal subscribers a free educational portal with first-hand monetary, financial, and economic knowledge. Enter our invite-only Insider Club by clicking the link below. You will get access to first-class information far earlier than the rest. We have prepared a special deal for all our members where you can access a giant pool of Robert Kiyosaki's financial wisdom for just $1. To find out more, simply click the link below and join our Insider Club absolutely free. But there is more you can and should do. Build up several streams of income. More and more people realize that they have to take their future in their own hands, but they don't know how and where to start. We from Compact offer our Insider Club members unique opportunities. Strengthen your financial muscle and get the edge. Click the link below. Become part of our free Insider Club. No financial obligations. But there's one important thing you have to know. You have to become active. So do it now. Become active and see you on the other side.